I keep saying I'll spend my whole 30s trying, and that my 40s I'll be able to be a mother. And did I want it that way? No. But it wasn't something like I I didn't always know that I wanted to be a mom the way some people do. I knew that family has always been really important to me. And then it was just the weirdest thing. I was driving to a vineyard and it just like came out of nowhere. I was like 31, 32, and I just had such a pull to motherhood. And at the time, the relationship that I was in, it was something that we were going to pursue, but it wasn't happening and I wasn't getting pregnant. And there was this constant toggle of, I always wrestled with, well, maybe I'm not meant to be a mother, or maybe this isn't something that's supposed to happen for me. Do I just like kind of not really pursue it? And I've never been a really competitive or really like go after things kind of person. I've always just sort of like, let things come to me. I don't really like to shake things up too much. I definitely don't like to insist on things. And this is like this thing that like I had to like insist on. I kept thinking that maybe it would go away or something. I just thought, well, I don't know, maybe this will go away. It just like landed in my lap out of nowhere. So maybe it'll just like poof, go. And then it didn't. And then I went through this phase where I'm like, well, is it like a boyfriend where like, you want to go out on a date, but he's not interested in you. So now you want it even more. So then I just went through this phase where I'm like, well, maybe I just really want it because I can't have it. What is happening? And then through time, I realized that no, I wanted a family of my own, however that was going to be. So I stayed with it. And, in that, the relationship that I was in at the time didn't continue because I think family for that person was just kind of more of a, if it happens kind of thing. So by the time I was 35, I realized, this is something I really need to really start pursuing. So it forced me to insist on it, kind of like to go after it, which was so hard because that's just different for me. That's just not something that I do. And you're full of so much self-doubt, and do I do this? And is this not supposed to happen? And this isn't happening to anyone else around me. What do I do? And then the relationship that I'm in now, I was very upfront with in my marriage, and I said, I don't think this is going to be easy. This, for the past 3 or 4 years, hasn't been easy. But at that point, I had such clarity. Like I knew what I would do, and I knew what treatments I would do, and I knew like how far I would go. And that was huge because I didn't know that before. But having ended that relationship, it just suddenly gave me that clarity to do that. And I knew, and thank God, he was like, I'm on board. So, really the past 3 years we've been through so much, and it's just been nonstop. It's just been one thing after another. So it's been pretty intense the last 3 or 4 years. And I was really hoping by 40 I would at least have one. Like, it hasn't happened yet. So I'm like, well, maybe the year I am 40 it will happen. So I'm just hoping that this 10-year time span will end and I can move on to the next 10, 20 years in a very different place, not chasing. And it's different now because I know what I want to do. Whether or not that ends up happening to me, I have an actual plan. Whereas in the beginning, it's just this kind of murky, messy thing. You don't really know what to do, or you don't know what's available. You don't know how far you would go. You're like, I don't have the money for this. Oh, well, I'll stop at that. And then it just keeps changing. With every experience that happens to you, it just changes what you're going to do next. and you start agreeing to do things that you didn't think you would do, but now it makes sense to you. But you had to have gone through that in order to be where you're at now. I think I learned I'm stronger than I thought I was. I think I learned patience, and I learned how to be an advocate for yourself, and how to, if something isn't working, or even the place that you're currently getting your treatment at isn't working, but you think, well, maybe I can just put up with this, or just go through this, or yes, I know nobody's really listening to me or wanting to go this way. Maybe next time I'll just get pregnant. I won't have to deal with this anymore, and I can just go on the road of motherhood. But there comes a point wherever you are. For some people, it's within the first year, or just who knows when. For me, it was longer, till I finally was like, okay, new game plan. I need to move where I'm getting my treatments done. I need to switch what I'm doing. I need to be around different people. I need to just get this whole thing together. And that you do have more choice in what treatments you have, or what it is that you pursue in terms of the healing arts program, or just being educated, to help you make better choices. There's a ton out of your control, but there's a lot that you can do to put yourself in the best position mentally and physically for it. And that I'm resolved to be a mother. And I don't think that I knew that in the beginning. I think that I thought, maybe it wouldn't be, but I understand it now. I understand why. I understand that's where I'm going. I feel like having the Western part and the Eastern part combined helps me feel like everybody's on the same page, and everybody's sort of looking at you as a whole. So physically, I've noticed changes just in being able to regulate what my body does and help me feel more relaxed as you go through the processes. The mind massage is something Erin and I will joke around about, and she'll be like, you have a love affair with the mind massage, because it's just very nourishing for me. And acupuncture has been wonderful in just regulating my cycle and everything that I do. So because physically you feel more grounded and more taken care of, then emotionally you feel better, and you feel like you can face the next thing that's coming your way. So they work in conjunction with each other to make you feel better. I had just been through, at that point, that was my third miscarriage. And I had just felt somewhat together again that morning. And, being pregnant and miscarrying 3 times in a year, I look back at it and it was like either I was getting over a loss or I was pregnant. And then what you feel the first few weeks that you are pregnant, and then you lose again, and then you have to wait, and then you start again. So it was like around May, it's almost like I was able to wake up again, and it was a beautiful morning. It was like this beautiful, sunny, crystal morning, and I'm driving to work, and it's like a warm day, and I'm singing for the first time to my radio, to whatever I had in on the iPad, and I was like, oh, I am singing again. I'm in my car, I'm singing again. I woke up, I showered, the hair is blow dried, I have my coffee, I am normal again. This is what I'm doing. Everybody else on 390 is doing this. I'm with the pack again, going to work with my wits about me. So I'm driving to work, and here's the crazy thing. I love deer. I grew up kind of with deer in our backyard in the woods and whatnot. And my dad and I have always, we're always like, oh, the deer, they're so beautiful, they're so angelic, blah, blah, blah. I make little sock deers. It's crazy. I love deer. So all of a sudden I'm driving and I'm singing, and I swear to God, out of the earth comes this deer, and she just like pops up, jumps over the bridge, and I see it, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna hit this deer. Like, I'm gonna hit this deer this morning on the first like nice morning with my stupid Starbucks. And I'm like, oh, I just started singing. What do you mean? Where did you come from? So in front of the car, and I put my brakes on. So I think I just like nicked it, and then it jumps over the bridge into the stream. There's like this crazy splash, and then it jumps out and then hops over the hood and takes off in the field. So of course I start crying, and I'm like, it is not even deer season. Where did this thing come from? Like, why me? Why the car? Why today? Why would this happen? So I had my pity party for a few minutes. So I thought about that for a little bit, and I was like, that is the world of infertility. I'm like, there is no deer season. You think that there are these signs, you know, yield, stop, deer, children crossing, but they don't necessarily cross there. You know, deer season doesn't happen from October to whenever deer season's supposed to be. They can come out in the middle of May. And that's the way it goes, that you can't plan. And that's the hardest thing to let go of, that, and it's okay. You know, there's so much you can do for yourself to take care of yourself, but there is so much that's truly out of your control, and you have to figure out a way to let it go, or you're just going to be chasing and kind of making yourself crazy.